folks, and welcome to another Sunday Morning Samoflange. I'm Matt.
I'm still eating this Reese cup.
Delicious.
It's
delish.
I'm Benjamin.
Hey.
And it's Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar Cherry. Thank you, Megan. Took the last one out of the fridge. I'll get you some more.
Such a lot.
Don't worry about it.
Hey, we did U.S. destinations last week. You want to do world?
Let's do the whole world, why don't we?
The world.
Yeah, it's a small world.
Next time it's going to be the universe. Which planets do you want to visit in our solar system?
That's a brilliant idea.
What? Pluto. Oh, wait.
How could you not want to go to Pluto?
Because it's not a planet anymore. It's off the list. It's an asteroid now.
Soul crushing.
It's funny because when I saw a picture of the galaxy and it stopped at like, what is it? What's the last one before Pluto?
Uranus.
Nah. Anyway, I was like, wait a minute, where's Pluto? Oh, that's right. It was called not a planet now. I feel bad for Pluto.
Yeah, everybody feels bad.
Everyone used to know Pluto.
If you grew up with Pluto, you know.
If you grew up with Pluto in your solar system.
Agreed. And now they've discovered, what, 3 or 4 asteroids or celestial bodies that are about the same size as Pluto in the asteroid belt.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest asteroids in the asteroid belt is bigger than? No, it's not that big. It's about the size of a quarter of the moon, like our moon or something like that, in the asteroid belt. And they're still finding stuff all the time, which is amazing to me.
Yeah, still.
The fact that stuff is being discovered so regularly
crazy.
in
How little we
solar
know.
system, and how much we don't really invest that much time in it.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
And effort. But maybe, but space is big.
Space is big.
It's really big. It's like unfathomably big.
And no one can hear you scream.
I have to watch Aliens again because
before we do top 10 planets, we'll have to watch Aliens.
Top 10 planets you would definitely not want to go to. Whatever that one was on Aliens. But I have to watch that again because the movie I just did, the producer, he's directing the next one, and they wrote a part for me based on the acting I did in the last movie. So they said, okay, we're going to do this other movie, and we're going to play this part. And so here's one I want you to pull your character references from. And so the 2 movies that he got for me that I need to rewatch, well, I suggested this one because he was describing the plot to me. He says, okay, so I need to watch Aliens again, is what he telling me. and he said, yes, that's exactly right, perfect. And then he texted me, and I was going to tell you this because about a month ago now, I suppose, on this podcast, we talked about influential movies, top 5 influential movies of our childhood. And do you remember what one of mine was that was really scary? It was arachnophobia.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently there's a crazy scientist in arachnophobia who he says, hey, he texts me the other day, says, hey, I need you to watch Arachnophobia again. And I need you to base your character on this guy because this is what I want him to do. And I'm like, are you serious? And we had just finished talking about it.
Did you tell Kim?
That's like the crap that I do for art, man. Because I'm going to subject myself to like the number 2 most influential horror movie I've ever seen in my life. And I have to rewatch it because I do this character.
Things you do. Things you do.
I'm really addicted to acting, I guess.
Yeah.
Theater and movies and good stuff.
Yeah. Last week, record-breaking 3 crossover.
Universe, yes.
Go for it.
Back down to the
Go
world.
for it. Name
it.
it.
A record-breaking crossover.
It was a record baking too.
Record baking. We're still baking.
All right.
So let's see. We had 3 for the United States. So if we expand,
if you go 3 with the world, I have nothing but respect for you. But
I'm gonna go world. No, I'm gonna go 3.
No, you really?
I'll take 3 right now. We've never had a 3 crossover.
2.
You have to go 2 then.
I have to go 2. I can't go 4. You forced my hand. So no, it's done. It's done.
Last
4.
week
I could have gone 1.
That's true. Last week we talked about midstream how our destinations were places we had not been. So, are any of these places you have been?
No, none of them.
Same.
All right.
So
here we go.
So we might have a lot of crossover.
You're right. I think for sure we have 2.
Really?
I think for sure we have 2. But
I'm gonna go big.
I'm gonna find out right now if we have 3. Are you ready? Because this one may be on your list.
Do you have a passport?
Yes.
And you've got stamps in it, like you've been places with it?
No, Mexico.
See, we talked last week about I've been all over the United States. I've had a passport for 6, 7 years. Mm-hmm. Not a single stamp in it because I've never left the country. The United States is pretty big. There's a lot
Yeah.
of good stuff to see. I've spent all my money traveling here,
Canada used to not require one.
and Canada used to not require one.
I've been to Canada twice.
Right, I've been back and forth to Mexico and Canada several times before passports were needed, and post 9/11 era.
My passport was because I was on a cruise, and you had to have one.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because we were going to one of the ports or whatever, and you had to have a cruise to get into that whatever we were going.
Okay. So yes, I have a passport, active passport, and haven't used it yet, but I'm ready to go anytime to any of these places.
Number 5
is
Rome.
Not on my list.
Whoa!
Here's the thing.
Okay, you're going to have to surprise me
Rome is
for a third pick. It could happen here. But, of course, I love Spartacus, Gladiator, stuff like that. Would love to see the Colosseum. Of course, it's Rome, Italy, for crying out loud. So there's a lot of other places I'd love to go. And I think the place is beautiful. There are a billion places that are beautiful around the world.
True.
I think anyone's top 5, I'd say yay. Let's go.
Rome has always, I could agree with that too. I'd like to hear anybody's top 5.
Yeah.
So please put it in the comments.
Please.
But Rome has always struck me as a very touristy city.
Yeah, but
I have a friend who lives in northern Italy, and she's like,
I understand.
Yeah.
But I love to go to the gardens, to have the olive oil, to have the authentic pasta, to have the food. To have the food, but the culture, the history.
The history is
there's a lot there. There's a lot there. So I can't let that one go. It's my number 5.
Colosseum is the big magnificence. The Parthenon and
I'd love to see that.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Incredible stuff.
All right. So what's number 5?
Rome is amazing to me just before we leave that topic.
I'm sorry.
No, just because of how much we do know about ancient Rome.
We know a lot.
And we know about the culture and the history and everything else. And we know so much. And then, like, almost anything pre-Rome is such a mystery. Like, we don't know what this person was. There's the monument with, what's the monument with just the guy's legs and the inscription says, No. It says, here, my name is Ozymandias. Look on my works, ye mighty in despair.
Yeah.
And it's like that's it. That's the only thing left of Ozymandias. Like, all we know is his name.
Feet.
And otherwise, dude's entire city got wiped out. And we were supposed to look at it in despair. That was the quote. Because he was so magnificent in the day. We don't have a freaking clue. And that just blows my mind.
That is incredible.
There was an entire civilization.
That thought they were going to live forever.
They thought they were the kings of all kings.
And they are
we don't have a clue who they are, and a blip. And yet Rome, and just about everything with the Romans, it feels like maybe with Vesuvius or Pompeii blowing up, that it just got so perfectly preserved that we know so much about it. It's amazing to me how much, like, we know what senators voted on, and we know who they went where with, and everything. Yeah. It's just incredible, the stuff that we know.
Huge.
I would love to see all that history and everything else. There.
But obviously not bad enough. What is your number 5?
I totally should have. I should add Rome.
That's right. You don't like culture. I understand what you're saying. All right. What's your number 5?
Number 5 is Iceland.
That's definitely not on mine.
Because also,
you want to go whaling?
No, definitely not.
Okay,
it's not Star Trek 4. So
go ahead.
I would like to go talk to some humpbacks and with Leonard Nimoy. That'd be fun.
Of course. In a tank at SeaWorld.
But when I was living in New Orleans, I worked at a military base.
Okay.
I know.
You're going somewhere with this. Yeah, I'm going to have to.
So in New Orleans, I was working on a military base, and I worked in a classified area. So you had to you had to get past the armed guard to get into the building, onto the premises. And then you have to get into the main gate. And then you have to go into the 4th floor with the badged elevator. Then you went into another area that was badged in with your PIN card. Then you went into another area, which is where I worked for the majority of the time, which was a classified area where you had to have a classified clearance to get in. And you had another PIN code, and you had to have a special card to use on the computers. There were special computers in that room, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it was very closed off from the world.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to bring in your Bluetooth watch. You get to take your watch off, no cell phones, no nothing. So working in there, I would get most of almost everything I needed to get done within the first hour or two of the day. And then I had a lot of free time to kill, because in the military, everything is just 100%. We're all going to do this, and we're all going to do it right now. And it needs to be done immediately and as fast as possible and as loud as possible, especially when you're talking about the Marine Corps.
Of course.
Or it's at a dead stop. Hurry up and wait. just absolute nothing is happening.
Right.
And there is a lot of free time to kill. And they kill it good. Marines are the most incredible I've ever seen at being able to kill free time.
So you want to hang out with Marines in Iceland?
Not true. What I did in New Orleans.
Okay, I'm still waiting.
I know,
I'm trying to
sorry.
make the
It's
connection.
an elaborate story.
Forgive me for not.
A very little payoff, so I apologize ahead of time. But one of the ways that we killed time in this classified area was Google Maps was one of the few places that is not restricted on those classified government computers, because you could get to almost.
Well, yeah, because you
couldn't
need
get
you
to
always need to.
You couldn't get to most of the internet, but you could get to Google Maps, because you had to have it for logistical reasons.
Right.
So we looked up like travel destinations, and zoom in on the street view of. And Google Maps is magnificent to play with.
Right,
Google
no.
Earth in general.
Agreed.
So the most the most northernmost community in the world is called Longyearbyen, and it is apparently, and I'm totally butchering that. It's in the archipelago of Svalbard. It's 78 degrees north. And it's the world's northernmost, most permanent settlement. That's halfway between mainland Norway and the North Pole. And there are 2,300 people there. And it's just incredible to me that they live up there. And it is. I read all about the research of this town, Longyearbyen, whatever. And in the summertime, there's like 1 hour of darkness.
Okay, so it's party all day.
North, right? It's literally party all day. And in the wintertime, it's 1 hour of daylight, and it's incredible.
That's neat.
And then like Tonsberg is in Norway, which is where they filmed the Avengers. That's where Thor lives.
Okay.
That's where they filmed a lot of that.
Norway.
And that's not even close to as far north as this other place. So that's. And I said Iceland because that seems much more habitable. But this one is tied for it. Like, I'd want to go to Longyearbyen or wherever, where they still have. Because there are other settlements that are much farther north than that, but they're like scientific or military research bases or things like that. Or like, what is it? The missiles that fly over the Arctic for the ICBMs that Russia would launch at us.
World War III.
Yeah. Those kinds of places are inhabited, way up in north.
Right.
That's what it is. Alert. That's the name of the town. It's called Alert because it's the alert station basically. And so anyway, but this place would have probably McDonald's, or something like that. So that would be my number 5. I would really want to go there.
That'd be the all day thing.
In
is kind of cool.
Yes. Let's be very clear about that.
In the summertime. I think all these can be prefaced in the summer.
Yeah,
in the summer.
Well, I don't know if I'd want to go to Rome in the summer.
Or wherever it's warm. Whenever it's warm.
Rome in the summer sounds like a miserable experience.
Maybe. I mean, I'll take the heat instead of the cold.
Okay.
All right. My number 4 is one that's definitely not on yours. It's only for historic reason. Wales. Family.
Really?
Came from Wales. That's where we got on the boats and went to the States. So of course, ancestry, kind of looking over. It's beautiful. I've looked it up before, so it looks beautiful. All those places, no, I haven't. But all those places like Ireland, Scotland, and stuff like that look amazing. And yes, all of them would fit in this block too. But if I had to be picky, which I do now, it's going to be Wales. For that reason.
That is very specific.
Though,
that's a very small.
That's very specific. That's a small island.
Area.
Yeah, but I mean, if you said, well, is Ireland or Scotland not in? Those are definitely things there. But I'd have to go to Wales just because of ancestry.
But most people can't point to Wales on a map. Most people don't know what Wales
I don't think anyone would have Wales on their top 5 or top 10 or top 200.
Unless their genealogies
go back there. But that's for me because I just thought that'd be kind of cool.
That would be neat.
It'd be kind of cool.
I would love to go there and see that.
I mean, that one's
not a lot of history there too. Are you a history buff?
Yeah, Dad traced the genealogy back to there, and so I'd like to see how far it goes back
that was one of their top things about Rome too. That was the top draw.
That's true. I'm a history major, so yeah, this is probably.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
were you a history major?
Yeah,
I had no idea. I feel like I knew that.
Not the reason for the rest of it.
I feel like I
maybe the reason for one other one,
really?
But the other ones no. So yeah. Wells.
So I'm sitting here talking about the history of Rome, and you're thinking, come on.
No, that's exactly.
I know a lot more about that than you do.
Well, no, I just find it interesting.
Yeah, well, it's crazy interesting. I totally agree.
So number 4,
Moscow,
Idaho. I'm kidding. Wow, Russia.
Partly because I'll probably in my lifetime never be allowed to go to Russia. If I want to keep my U.S. security clearance. Because, and here's the thing, I don't even want the planes that I'm on to make a detour over Russia. Because as soon as I land in the United States, the Secret Service is going to be like, well, why'd you fly over Russia? Who are you talking to? Like, they don't mess around with that these days.
No, not now.
I
Not
work in
now.
cybersecurity and federal government and everything.
Not
There's
now.
some real tensions going on.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to answer that question. Why did you go to Russia? I have friends in Moscow. I probably shouldn't even say that publicly. Because, I mean, I'm going to have FBI agents showing up at my house or some crap. All right, I overestimate my importance, but it doesn't matter. But I'm not joking about
I speak to my friends in Russia frequently.
I'm not joking about the fact that I would have to answer a lot of questions if I ever went to Moscow.
I am housing Russians right now.
Oh, are they in the basement?
They're in the attic.
Oh, because we don't have basements?
Not here. All right, but go ahead. I'm sorry. So Russia.
No, it's fine.
The vodka.
And here's the thing. Partly is because...
You can't. It's the forbidden fruit.
A, it's forbidden. But B, is...
Like Belle in the West Wing.
But B, it's forbidden again, is the thing. Because when we were growing up, it was the Cold War.
Oh, yeah. You didn't want to go there.
Right. And, I mean, Rocky IV is the only thing that changed the world, right? I think Rocky IV really changed everything for everybody, as far as Russians and Americans actually having any kind of interest, because like it was just such a anti thing, like the anti-red movement or the anti-communist movement and everything, and Gorbachev was the face of everything, and with the birthmark and all that, and all the action movies that had evil Russians in it,
Rocky IV,
and how many things, like it just felt like the forbidden land for so many years. And I think a lot of it is not nostalgia necessarily, but just like the allure and the mystique of it. So also Red Square and St. Basil's Cathedral that's there.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. But we talked about traffic in the last podcast and how DC is so bad, and apparently Moscow makes DC look like a pleasure cruise.
Oh my gosh!
It's like 6 lanes of traffic everywhere
non-stop
through the city, and it's constantly. If you pull up Google Traffic, like Google Maps, and you go to the traffic around Moscow, solid red all day, all night, 100% of the time. Yeah, it's like New York City on road rage.
On steroids.
Great. So
on 6 lanes.
On 6 lanes of New York City.
That is not on my list anytime
not
soon.
A place to go. But again, summertime. But I would love to go there if I could. I don't think I will ever be able to.
All right. My number 3, I did think about Norway.
Really?
Because that was nice, but I didn't put it on.
Just because of the breathtaking...
It looks amazing. Vistas. So does Denmark.
Yes.
But of those...
The Scandinavian countries. You want to go to Sweden?
Yes.
Why?
Sweden. I have a few friends over there already, and I've gotten to see a lot. No. No. They both aren't.
Because we talked about recently how you don't favor blondes.
Yeah, not on the podcast. Not on the podcast.
Not on this podcast.
Not on this podcast. But no, I just from what they've shown me, what I've seen about it, I'd like to go.
Photos or whatever. Or...
Yeah, well, no, they've talked about it, and I've looked at it, and I was like, yeah, that does look kind of neat. Plus,
but what have they said aside from the breathtaking vistas?
Oh, they're 100% open right now too.
What do you mean?
They're living like it's 2019.
What? Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Everything's 100%.
Everything's all the way
no social distancing, no mask. They're living. They said, "Screw this. It's a flu right now." Wow. And they're middle of the road in cases.
I had no idea.
In the world, yeah.
That's in Sweden.
Sweden.
Wow.
Denmark's like that now. February 1st.
Check it out, ladies and gentlemen.
Ever since February 1st, they've been open 100% too. I think.
I realize that.
Yeah, because they're like, we don't need to panic about this, and so it'd be nice to see normal people. But the thing is, even before then, this would have made my list. That
makes sense. I mean, Sweden and the Scandinavian countries in general, I can't imagine have nearly as much travel as we do in this country.
But they are very beautiful. Denmark and Norway would be to rank those 3 countries. Yeah. Probably Sweden, then Norway, then Denmark. I would love to visit them all.
I don't think I could really rank them between the three. Like they all look incredible.
They all look incredible,
Yeah.
but for me, that would be my ranking there of
I
them.
think
But
when
they're
I
all
said
wonderful.
Iceland as my number 5, like I could probably put all that together, like the long year.
A lot of these kind of merge together.
Yeah.
Like Scotland and Ireland are not on mine, but yeah, duh, I'd go.
But of course, like in a heartbeat, I would go
In a
there.
heartbeat.
I've got friends who live up in Belfast who post pictures all the time, like on Instagram or whatever, and they live near one of the big castles up there in Belfast. I forget which one it is, but he takes the dog walking. They take some photos of the dog, and it's just the most amazing picture you've ever seen. Like it would be any one of his regular Saturday walks up the hillside to the castle, off, looking out onto the ocean, onto the Atlantic over a beautiful there's like a mist and a haze and the sunlight streaming through and everything else, and it's the most gorgeous photo I've ever seen in my life. It would be like if I had a physical copy of every picture I've ever taken, it would be in the top 10. He's like, yeah, Saturday morning.
No, not yet. Number 3.
Okay, number 3 is London. And honestly, do we have crossover now? Or do we have no crossover?
We do! Yeah. Is that our first one?
I think it is.
Shut up.
Yes.
All right, so I'm holding on to this.
Might be able to hit the top 3.
So that was my number 2.
Ooh.
This is your number 3?
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
All right.
And really, not for very long. Like there are a few things I would want to see in London, but it is a very, very overpopulated place, I guess.
I understand.
And I'm fascinated because of a few reasons. A, I love language and dialect and accents. And the distinction between one street to the next, one neighborhood to the next, in accents in London specifically, just blows my mind.
Yeah.
How you can have it sectioned off into different parts of the city and have entirely different ways of speaking.
I don't know if this is cheating. I need to add the countryside outside of London too. I want to see that.
I mean, I would like to see that too.
I'm sure it's boring, but
I wouldn't.
I want to see it.
I wouldn't want to necessarily go to the countryside. I wouldn't care. Like, I can take it or leave it. You may tell me when you describe your number 2. Like that would.
No, that's one for me. No, everything you've described is fine. I have a friend out there too.
Okay.
Go to visit him.
I don't know anybody who lives in London. I would really want to go see the theater stuff. Like, I want to go see the Old Vic Theater and like the Shakespearean stuff. I want to see where the Shakespeare things happen and just the artsy part of it.
Yeah.
I want to see that culture of the theater culture.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm drawn to.
Yes.
Is the thespian part of me. So
and that would you see Shakespeare there.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I want to see. I don't really have any interest in going to like the Big Ben Tower or
I would. I would still.
I would kind of want to see
I would be touristy a little bit.
I wouldn't care to go to London Bridge or anything else. You know what I would like? I would like to see London
it's always
Bridge.
falling down.
Right. But I would like to see it. I would like to see the Tower of London because
I would love to see
because of its prominence in Shakespeare and its historical significance.
Yes,
and everything else.
That's exactly for me.
But really, like London could be I want to go for maybe 2-3 days tops, and then I'll be done. Like,
wow, that's
I don't want
number
to be
3
around such the packed.
No, I don't want to be around crowds either. But we have to go to when we have to. We can't avoid that.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. I would totally want to go just for a minute, just for a hot minute, see all the things real quick, and enjoy them maybe for a day or two, and then have some of the food that everybody says is so terrible. And then, because worldwide they're apparently derided for eating the most disgusting things and calling it great. And whatever, we eat crawfish here. So
I've got this contest in the bag.
Oh my god!
Go for number 2.
What do you mean number 2?
You already guessed my number 2.
Well, I mean, I want you to talk about London. Why do you?
No. For everything you said and for the things I added on to it.
Why the countryside though?
I mean, I just wanted to see it. I just think it looks pretty.
It's like some World War II history.
Yeah, well, my buddy lives outside of London, actually, in one of the small towns out there. And there's I don't know if it's there or it's in London, but there's some kind of there's a game show, the Crystal Maze. He got me watching, which is amazing. And I was watching all the episodes. It's so much fun. And there's a Crystal Maze experience. You can play the game. It's kind of like it's almost like going through the fun house through Double Dare or something.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like, but you get to play the actual game, and I've always wanted to do that. Like before we had the kids, if I would have known him earlier, I would have saved up the money to go.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go number 2 because I'm interested if I'm going to win this.
Number 2 is same almost as London as far as reasoning is Paris.
Okay, I did not have Paris on here. I think it's beautiful, and for probably every reason you're about to say, I agree with.
I don't have a lot of reasons. I have the classic touristy stuff. I want to see the Louvre.
Yes.
I want to see the Eiffel Tower, and I want to have the food.
I was going to say the food is there too.
It's really
Eiffel
that.
Tower.
I want to go to that Romance Bridge. I forget the name of where they put the padlocks on it and everything else. And I want to see the touristy crap for a second. But I would also, the reason I've ranked Paris number 2 over London is because I could easily see myself spending a lot more time in Paris or outside of Paris. Like, I wouldn't want to live in London, but I would want to live in France. I would want to live in Paris for a while, or maybe one of the little. Because like your buddy from London is he just says London because you don't know where his actual town is from.
Exactly.
Like, I grew up in
No, he did tell me Yorkshire or wherever, I don't know, wherever. But he said near X amount of miles near or
like people who live near Dallas, Texas. No one lives in Dallas.
Right.
They
live
in
outside.
Tiny town just outside of Dallas.
But so you'd like to live in a tiny town outside of Paris?
I would like to. I could do that. I might do that.
Oh.
I could very well do that. And honestly, I've thought about it a lot. So I might move to Paris.
Until there was number 1.
Until there's number 1 comes available, yes.
Oh, please, God. Is it my number 1?
Have we already hit your number 2?
Yes.
It was London.
Are you ready for number 1?
What was your number 3?
Sweden.
Did we miss one of yours?
No. You guessed London, which is right. So that's why you did back to back.
Right.
Ready?
Yes.
Australia.
1, 2, 3, Australia.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah! Yeah, Australia.
Australian. I put the beaches and the weather without hurricanes because in Australia they're called cyclones because the wind spins the opposite direction.
I got it too, baby.
And and there's not as many Americans in Australia. It's just it's a different culture. It's a different world.
I have several friends in Australia.
I have a few friends in Australia who I can't believe I don't live there.
Even when they say, no, mate, don't go visit me out here. There's nothing that happens out here. No, it doesn't matter because I'd love to go.
Right.
I'd love to go. The experience everywhere. They love, what is it? They love Australian football, which is a weird sport.
Game.
But to be honest, when you watch those crowds, they go effing nuts. I think they're bigger than an NFL crowd.
Oh, totally.
They go nuts. Yeah. For every 6 or 7 steps, you got to bounce the ball. What? And then you can slide into the end zone or kick it through the wicket for a point.
That's not the reason you want to go to Australia.
No, but there's a whole culture.
Right.
Everything about it.
I agree. And when I say Australia, I don't necessarily want to go to Sydney and,
No,
I do want to see the opera house. I do want to see the bridge. Yeah. Everything else. Sydney Harbor is gorgeous. However, I wouldn't want to go to Sydney.
I wouldn't want to stay in Sydney.
I'd want to go to Melbourne and Brisbane and Perth and
yes.
And Adelaide.
Yes. And if my friends are there, I want to hang out with them. I just want to experience the culture, the people out there.
It's magnificent. I love it. Honestly, anyone who knows me over the past six or 7 years, because Australia is the reason I got a passport. I'm not even joking.
I'll be honest. I knew that was going to be on yours.
It is the reason I got the passport. Because 7 years ago, I decided I really want to go there. I wonder what it takes to get a passport. And just in case I get the opportunity, I'm going to have it and ready to go. And for the past 6 or 7 years of my life, it just hasn't quite lined up, and it hasn't happened. Or I've taken a risk, or I've taken a gamble on this, or I said maybe I'm going to do this now, and I was like, maybe I'm going to do this now. And honestly, the first opportunity that it comes up, I've looked into my own company. Like, does my company have a branch office in Australia? You damn right they do. And guess what? I've already looked into what it would take to transfer in my same job with my same company down to the Sydney office or to the Melbourne office.
You're gonna. Yeah, Melbourne. Go Melbourne.
Any of them.
Either way.
Need to go.
Either way.
Yes,
either way, you got to see it and everything. So you're telling me your life is like the guy from Up.
Okay.
You just keep filling up that money jar, but it's just not happening yet.
Oh, that's not true. Okay, and I've seen Up once, and it was so sad I can't watch it again.
Saving up that money jar, but then busting it for something else.
No, that's not it.
Every time those 7 years with the passport,
7 years with
the express intention to go to Australia,
because I've been busting up in the piggy bank and the money jar for other adventures in my life, which I have enjoyed.
I'm not saying you're regretting those things, but I'm just saying. It's the carrot.
Am I regretting them?
It's the travel carrot in front of your face.
Yes, and it has been for a very long time.
On the pole and the string. You just can't. It's been just out of your reach.
It's been just. Oh man, look at it! It's right there. It looks just like Saturday.
I'm not ready yet. I want to. Hold on.
Okay, yes, please hit me with.
Hold on. I want to just real quick, and then we'll
Do we
go.
have honorable mentions?
Well, I don't have any honorable
All
mentions.
right, go.
But I would. The food is also something I wanted to say for
In
Australia.
Australia?
Yes.
Tell me why.
I don't know,
The
just
food
because
not in particular. Is it just part of the appeal? Is just the fact that
it
Australia
seems
is
like it's a lot of bar food and meats, but bring it. Honestly, bring it.
Look, one of the reasons, and this just hit me, that I want to go is because short of being an astronaut, which is not going to happen for me, Australia is as far away from here as I can possibly get because I have no interest in going to China ever. I have zero interest in going to almost all of Asia. I have no interest.
Same. Same.
And so
Thailand may be the exception.
Maybe, but no.
Maybe, but I can pass that up. Yeah.
But I could live in Australia tomorrow, it feels like, and it would be magnificent.
I would love to go to Australia.
And part of the reason I want to go is just because it is as far away from here as I can get. It is the Mordor to my Hobbit. My Hobbit.
Shire.
The Shire, yes.
Wow. Thanks for calling us the Shire. That's nice and homely.
Yeah, this is the Shire, man.
This is nice and
it's
comfy.
It's a nice little cozy place where we all got.
But you want to go to Mordor, which is Australia.
Okay, take it back.
Because the Outbacks is I know what you mean. Elvendale. If it was Riverdale, whatever. If that was on the other side.
If it was on the other side.
If Rivendell was on the other side of the Shire, that's what you like to do.
Right.
Thanks, because we do have Australians that listen to the podcast.
On the map.
There are Australians that listen to the podcast. I just want to say that when you compare it to Mordor,
there might be problems when
we'll flip that around. He wants to come from Mordor to the Shire.
Look, somebody from
actually the Shire is
a good one. Hey. Now that we're talking about it just flip it around. And exactly right. Exactly right.
You have some buttered toast and jam.
You know what? I really got to break open that piggy bank.
Yeah.
Maybe next Saturday I will.
Morning
Samoflange.